Ever since Russell Wilson signed with the Pittsburgh Steelers this offseason, he has become the crux of the biggest debate in Steelers Nation. First, it was Kenny Pickett. Are you for or against Kenny Pickett? Now it's Team Russ versus Team Fields. And Russell Wilson, man, seems like every time I go on Steelers Twitter, there's a massive debate going on as to whether or not Russell Wilson will be good or whether he will be bad for the Pittsburgh Steelers this year. So today, I'm going to tell you why I think Russell Wilson will succeed in 2024. However, I will also tell you the reasons why Russ could potentially fail with the Pittsburgh Steelers in 2024. So today we're going to play both sides. I'm going to present both sides of an argument to you guys, and I'm going to let you guys come up to your own opinion on the matter. So before we get into it here, and if you really are pulling for Russell Wilson, if you're rooting for him to be a really good piece to this Steelers offense this year, click that thumbs up icon if you are rooting for Russell Wilson to have success this year. So the first reason why Russ will succeed this year in Pittsburgh is because he actually played better than people thought last year, okay? Now, I think because, he got benched at the end of the season, the Broncos didn't make the playoffs, they didn't meet expectations as a team, they kind of placed it all on Russell Wilson, they think he stinks. But you look at these numbers here, and they were significantly better than what it was in 2022 with that disaster cake of a team under Nathaniel Hackett, right? So you bring Sean Payton in, and his numbers increased dramatically. 26 touchdowns, so only 8 interceptions, over 1,000 yards passing in just 15 games played. Again, remember he got cut, or he didn't get cut, he got benched at the end of last season because the Broncos didn't want him to get hurt and for his injury guarantees to be kicking in. So you look at his numbers from last year, 24 touchdowns, 8 interceptions. It's one of the best ratios in the National Football League. Also, he was one of the more accurate quarterbacks in the league. Adjusted completion percentage was 3rd, and on-target percentage was 6th. The big-time throw percentage was top 10. The touchdown percentage was top 5, meaning he was extremely accurate and efficient in the red zone. And then the interception percentage was top 10 lowest among starters in the National Football League last year. So he protects the football. He gets the ball in the end zone when he's in the red zone. He makes big-time throws. He's accurate. These numbers point to somebody that's a much better quarterback than the narrative around him says at this point. Let's remember, last year, Russell Wilson and the Denver Broncos in the middle of the season won 5 straight games in a row. They were streaking towards a playoff berth, and they beat 4 out of 5 playoff teams during that stretch. Green Bay made the playoffs. Kansas City won the Super Bowl. Okay, then also you got Buffalo, right, made the playoffs, right, beat the Pittsburgh Steelers last year, by the way. And then you look at Cleveland, 4 teams that made the playoffs. Russell Wilson with a team that was worse than the Pittsburgh Steelers this year and the Denver Broncos in 2023 beat Mahomes, beat Allen, beat the Cleveland Browns defense. All the teams that the Steelers are expecting him to beat this year, he already beat them with a worse team last year. But you might be saying, but Jack, the Broncos cut him, and they're paying him $38 million to go away this season. How could you possibly say he was a good quarterback last year if they're willing to do that? Well, the answer to that is because they pretty much had to after the way they treated Russell Wilson last year. All right, and Russell Wilson indulged here, and he devolved, and he told us on the I Am Athlete podcast this offseason that they essentially extorted him to try and get him to eliminate his injury guarantees on his contract, or else they were going to bench him, okay? And that is not the way you treat players in the National Football League. And this was something that was big-time news back in February and March when this was happening, right? If you guys might have forgotten about this. But remember, Russ and Sean Payton, their preferred play styles are completely different, okay? So that's the first thing. It's like mixing oil and water. So that's one of the reasons why they got rid of him. But also, Denver in the middle of the season last year asked Russ to waive his injury guarantees, or else they were going to bench him for the rest of the season. Russ reported the Broncos to the NFLPA, who in turn threatened to sue the Denver Broncos for doing that, and they immediately said, never mind, we'll start Russ again, and then they went on that 5-game winning streak, and then they eventually benched him at the end of the season, after week 15 there. So, I just think this was a relationship that was completely broken between Russell Wilson and the Denver Broncos, and I understand why people think think that Russell Wilson has to stink because of what happened here, but I just think Denver put themselves in this mess and they had to kind of lay in this bed that they made. So another thing here that I think is going to lead to success for the Russell Wilson this year is that he's a perfect fit for what Pittsburgh wants out of their QB1 this year. You look at their winning formula and how the Steelers want to win football games. They are currently spending the number one most amount of money on the defensive side of the ball. So that means they want to dominate on defense. They have two good running backs, so they want to control the ball. They don't want to turn the ball over. They want to wear down opposing defenses, right? And then, yeah, they do want to throw the ball deep off of play action, and that is why they brought in Arthur Smith, because he can play that kind of offense. And then also, they need somebody that can deliver in the clutch. Russell Wilson led the NFL last year in fourth quarter comebacks. So pretty much, guys, this is what Russell Wilson is being asked to do. Execute Arthur Smith's quarterback-friendly offense. I think he's more than capable of doing that. Protect the football. He had a less than 2% interception rate last year, which was top 10 among starters. Throw the deep ball. He still has a great arm. He had a 65-yard air yard touchdown to Cortland Sutton last year. He definitely still has that moon ball in his back pocket, and then win games late. He proved that last year by leading the NFL in fourth quarter comebacks and game-winning drives. So, you look at why he's going to succeed this year. They're not asking him to do all that much, all right? If you're going to talk about Russell Wilson in the vein of can he be the superstar offensive player that he once was, I don't think that anybody's expecting Russell Wilson to do that this year. I think it's back to basics with Russell Wilson, okay? In the early part of his career in Seattle, he was asked to be a game manager that protected the football, threw the ball deep when it mattered, and won football games late. That is exactly what the Steelers are asking him to do, all right? The defense is going to show up, the run game is going to be bruising, and Russell Wilson's job is going to be to not lose football games for this team. And I think he's more than capable of doing that, as evidenced by what he did last season. The final reason why he'll succeed is that Arthur Smith is his offensive coordinator. And if you'll remember, okay, Arthur Smith back in 2020 with the Tennessee Titans, all right, it was an awesome year for them. Okay, you look at all these numbers here for the offensive stats for Tennessee. They were the number one seed in the AFC with quarterbacks like Mahomes and Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson and Joe Burrow and Justin Herbert and all those guys. Tennessee had the number one seed in the AFC that year with these numbers here. And they had Ryan Tannehill leading the way at quarterback. He had 33 touchdowns and 7 interceptions. If the Steelers get this kind of production out of Russell Wilson, they're going to be extremely successful this year. And by the way, Ryan Tannehill did this with a wide receiver room that had A.J. Brown, that had, you look at Corey Davis, and then Nick Westbrook-Akine. Those were the top three receivers, and that's what he had 33 touchdowns and 7 interceptions with. So Arthur Smith is an excellent, excellent, excellent offensive coordinator. I think he's proven that. And I think Russell Wilson is far more talented than Ryan Tannehill ever was. So predict it for me down there in the comments section. Will Russell Wilson lead the Pittsburgh Steelers to a playoff victory this year? Give me a yes or a no for today's pinned comment. In just a second here, I'm going to tell you why I think Russell Wilson's going to potentially fail with the Pittsburgh Steelers. And also, YouTube's going to throw you an ad break. And when that happens, give me a yes or a no down there in the comments section. So coming up here, I'm going to tell you why Russell Wilson may fail with the Pittsburgh Steelers. We're going to play both sides of the argument here. I already told you why I think he's going to succeed. Now I'm going to tell you why he could potentially fail with the black and gold. But before we get into that, let's have a word from our sponsor here at Game Time, which is the fastest and easiest way to buy tickets for all the sports, music, comedy, and theater in your area. And guys, we all know that experiencing a sporting event, especially a football game, live is unlike anything you can get from watching the game on your couch. So if you love to say, I was there for all of your favorite teams' biggest moments, Game Time has a new feature called Game Time Picks that makes getting tickets to see your favorite teams play live even easier. So Game Time Picks filters out the fluff to show you only incredible deals on great seats so you don't have to waste time searching through thousands of tickets. So here's how it works. Go to the Game Time app, pick a game. Let's go to the Chargers and Steelers game at Acrisure Stadium, a home opener for the Steelers this year, for an example. All you have to do is click the Game Time Picks tab, and Game Time automatically uses their algorithm to find the best seats at the best price for you, so you don't have to shop around on all these different ticketing apps, and you don't even really have to shop around on the Game Time app. Game Time shows you which tickets are on the best deals so that you can make the best possible decision for you and your family to go see the team of your choice in whatever sport of your choice. Guys, they got the lowest price guarantee on every single ticket to any event, and guys, it's more than just sports. It's music, it's comedy, it's theater performances, it's comedy shows, all that great stuff, guys. And if you can get tickets to something, you can get it at Game Time at the lowest price guarantee. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time today. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code CHATSPORTS for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code CHATSPORTS for $20 off. Download Game Time today. What time is it? It's Game Time. So some potential reasons why Russell Wilson could fail with the Pittsburgh Steelers is that if the offensive line isn't good and they're not protecting Russell Wilson, I think Russ has proven throughout his career that he's going to hold on to the football and he's going to take sacks. All right, you take a look just last year with the Denver Broncos, okay? You look at Russell Wilson. 45 sacks, which was the fourth most in the National Football League for Russell Wilson. And then the time to throw was the third lowest, so it's the third highest, all right? So 3.06. So that's the third most time to throw. F. Coop in the chat for screwing with the graphics there. So Justin Fields actually had a much higher time to throw. He had the most time to throw. But Russell Wilson, there's no way around it, guys. He holds on to the ball for a very, very long time. And if this offensive line can't protect him, Russell Wilson is going to fail, all right? You have to give him time to throw. You got to give him time to go through the offense. He's no longer the escape artist he once was in Seattle, where he's a great athlete and can scramble all over the place. He's pretty much a pocket passer at this point in his career. So this offensive line, Broderick Jones, I'm looking at you. You're going to have to step up this year, and you're going to have to protect Russell Wilson. If not, you're probably going to have to go to Justin Fields, who does a better job at moving at this point in his career. So you take a look at another reason why Russell Wilson may fail with the Pittsburgh Steelers this year is that traditionally he doesn't throw over the middle of the field, especially the intermediate part of the field, and that's what Arthur Smith wants out of his quarterback. So a lot of people, when they signed Russell Wilson, were like, wait a minute, this isn't a very good fit. Arthur Smith loves to throw those intermediate dig routes over the middle of the field, intermediate crossers. Is Russell Wilson really going to be comfortable throwing those types of passes? And, that's a fair point. Russell Wilson has not traditionally thrown those types of passes, particularly in the drop back passing game. Plain and simply here, Russell Wilson absolutely has to go to the middle of the field to have success in this offense. Now, he did show a willingness to throw to the middle of the field in the preseason. He picked up a big third down conversion in the game against the Buffalo Bills on a nice sit route over the intermediate middle to Van Jefferson. So if that's something that he can get more comfortable with throughout this year, I think Russell Wilson will be a success. But if Russ can't get over kind of the tendency to just throw outside the numbers and avoid the middle of the field, he's likely going to be a failure with the Pittsburgh Steelers. Another reason why Russell Wilson could potentially fail, my final reason, is that the pressure is definitely on. Okay, you got a young, talented quarterback in Justin Fields waiting in the wings right behind you, which means Russell Wilson coming off of two, let's call it disappointing seasons in Denver, all right? Obviously, Denver got rid of him, and, the narrative around him is that he is on the decline trajectory of his career, whereas Justin Fields is a talented younger quarterback, maybe on the incline trajectory of his career. So there's a lot of people that already want to go to Justin Fields before Russell Wilson even takes a snap in the regular season. So if Russ is going to ingratiate himself with this team's franchise, he's going to have to play well, and he's going to have to play well quickly. This team is going to have to get hot out of the gate against Atlanta, against Denver, against the Chargers, and they're going to have to win games early in this season, or else Tomlin is not going to hesitate to go to Justin Fields if Russell Wilson isn't it. Now let me know down there in the comments section, will Russell Wilson succeed or fail with the Pittsburgh Steelers this year? Type S if you think he's going to succeed, or type F if you think he's going to fail. For me personally, guys, I'm going to go with succeed. I think Russell Wilson has shown throughout the limited time that he's had in practices and training camp, and of course in the time that he's had in the preseason, that this team believes in him. Arthur Smith, Mike Tomlin, they believe in him. They think that he can be the efficient game manager that Ryan Tannehill was with Arthur Smith in 2020, and with the great defense, the good run game, hopefully, some nice weapons here with the Pittsburgh Steelers for him to work with. They're hoping that Russell Wilson can go back to his days there with the Seattle Seahawks, where he led them to 2 Super Bowls Bills and nearly won both. So that's the hope with Russell Wilson right now. Definitely rooting for him. And we're going to be covering every single day of the Russell Wilson and Justin Fields era right here on Steelers Talk. I appreciate everybody for making it to the end of today's show. Make sure you click that subscribe button if you want more Steelers videos like this one for free every single day. And until next time, here we go, Steelers.